While ordinary Germans struggle to afford basic necessities, their government spends tens of thousands of euros on makeup for politicians. You heard me correctly. Naturally, more for the female ministers. According to German newspaper Bild, former Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock spent over 21,000 euros in just 3 months of 2025 on makeup services, averaging about 250 euros per day. Ouch. Bro, most people don't make that much per day in their sort of full time 9 to 5 job. Her personal makeup artist charged 7,500 euros monthly and accompanied Annalena Baerbock on official trips worldwide for those important pre meeting touch ups. And even then, she looked like she was at a safari trip when she went and visited Syria. I don't know what happened there. No suit in sight, just wearing some sort of, outfit to roam the African savannah. Now, the total government spending on styling services reached nearly 590,000 euros, dizzying amounts to be honest, between 2022 and earlier this year. This lavish spending comes as Germany faces its worst economic crisis since World War II. The country's GDP contracted, meaning got smaller, by a small 0.2% in 2024, following a contraction again of 0.3% in the year before, in 2023, making Germany an award winner. It's the only country in the G7 economy to shrink for 2 consecutive years straight. This is what I talk about, by the way, when in other videos I talk about the stuttering, plateauing economies of the West, for better or worse. I'm not, cheering on the downfall of the Western world by and large, but it is what it is, right? The Western economies are plateauing; they're not growing very far, and in Germany's case, they're not growing at all. They're actually shrinking, 2 years in a row. While in comparison, fun fact, the BRICS nations of the BRICS Economic Union and the nations of the global South sometimes are showing double-digit GDP growth per year. Titan economies like China's, by some metrics, the largest economy in the world now, is still growing 5% a year. Insane numbers, guys. Because obviously, a small percentage of a huge starting number is a bigger jump forward in real terms. And I'm saying China's growth is like 5% a year still, even after it's already huge. And it's because those global south countries have high potential. They haven't maxed out, whereas the advanced economies of the West, they've by and large maxed out, which is why their growth is plateauing, meaning it's leveling off. It's not growing at a nice, strong, consistent, or exponential rate. Far from it. It's the growth is tending towards zero. Now back to Germany. Manufacturing has collapsed within the country effectively, with a capacity utilization falling just below three quarters, just below 75% in October of last year, meaning the full potential of the German industry is not being utilized. Factories are not pumping out their full capacity of goods that they could produce for a variety of reasons, but generally, a not close to 100% capacity for a country's industry suggests there's some issue in one or several places that mean that the country is not running its industry efficiently. Now, unemployment has also risen to 6% as major companies announce massive job cuts and plant closures. You might have heard of, for example, Volkswagen and other German car manufacturers going through the ringer, especially with competition from Chinese companies like Build Your Dreams, BYD, taking the stage, and Europe potentially importing cars from China now. Meanwhile, 75% of Germans say high cost of living remains a major issue for them in 2025. Get this, yeah? Housing costs are crushing German families to the point where one in 10 families in Germany are spending almost half their income on just rent, just housing. Sorry, not just rent, but rent and utilities. Over half their income for the most struggling 10%. That's a huge. Well, imagine your salary, half of it is just rent, is just gone, and then you have to, expenses and holiday and gifts, everything else included, you have to pay for it with just the other half of your salary. Bad times, right? Energy prices remain stubbornly high despite some relief from peak 2022 levels. What happened in 2022? I wonder, was it possibly Russia, Ukraine, and then Germany had to cut off Ukrainian, Russian gas? No surprise, right? That cost of living sucks for the Germans. Germans are living paycheck to paycheck, but got to make sure that Russian gas is not bought, right? Got to make sure. Priorities. Orders from Big Daddy USA. Orders from Big Daddy. Orders are orders. Workers are striking across the country, even this year, demanding 8% pay increases just to keep up with rising expenses. It's the same in the UK, to be honest. So we have stagflation, a stagnating wage, and inflation in terms of costs of everything, basically. And often businesses can't even give their workers that pay raise they need to keep in line with inflation because the big businesses themselves are also struggling. Yet somehow that same German government claims there's no money for citizens or businesses or to support German industry. That same government found billions for Ukraine for that unwinnable war against the Russian bear. Germany has committed 28 billion euros, 28 billion euros in military aid to Ukraine since 2022, with another 9 billion pledged in just 2025 alone. Wow, so supportive. Wow, how heroic for the speed bump. I mean, for the Ukrainian state in the Far East. Military experts increasingly agree Ukraine cannot defeat Russia. NATO military experts know this, let alone, international unbiased or non-Western biased experts. Even with NATO support, Ukraine cannot beat Russia, making this German expenditure by funneling resources into Ukraine a huge dead end investment. So Germany has 7,500 recap here. Germany has 7,500 euros a month for makeup artists, and billions for hopeless military escapades. But German citizens must cut back on luxuries and watch their standard of living collapse or plummet. The priorities are a tad bit shady, I would say. And let's not forget, less than a month ago, the new German head of state, Chancellor Friedrich Merz, announced that he wanted the German defense sector to be scaled up rapidly, right? German military industry. And for Germany to end up with the strongest European army on the I was going to say subcontinent. Damn it, on the continent. I made a video all about it. Check out that video in my German geopolitics playlist if I have got it up at the time of recording this video. Germany, the strongest military in Europe to oppose Russia, no less. Germany, the good guys, Russia, the bad. Have I heard this story before and did I get it the right way round? Or was it the other way round? Germany bad, Russia good last time. For the unbiased news and analysis without the Western spin, I'm Mahfouz, and I'll see you on the next one. Sorry about my hair, and thank you for your continued support, guys. It is really appreciated. Hope you're enjoying my news and stuff and analysis without the Western spin. Is this like ASMR now? Okay. Does it sound like ASMR?